I don't think there's any doubt how corrupt the Chinese military is from a cultural perspective. I mean, that's how you promote it up. At one of the other venues, there was a discussion about, and Woolley touched on it. I mean, I was involved in my first combat operations 30 years ago, and it's but about every 2 years I've been involved in combat operations. That's not the case with the Chinese military. That gives us significant advantage. I think they're closing the gap from a capacity and capability perspective, but from a leadership perspective, especially delegating leadership, down to young sailors and young airmen. That's just part of our military culture. I didn't know where you were going with the corruption piece, whether it was with respect to the PLA or whether it was the U.S. military. I think there's a pretty high standard in the U.S. military, and that we publish those that fall short of the high standards that we set for ourselves. But I think China recognizes that they cannot lead with the purity that's necessary to drive young Chinese into combat, to support the goals of the Chinese government, the Chinese people writ large, without getting after this corruption challenge. But there's many nuances in there that I think others understand better than I do.